Hey class, it's Miss Donaldson here with another read aloud. Today we're going to read Goldilocks and the Three Dinosaurs. This is actually a retelling of the popular story Goldilocks and the Three Bears. A retelling is just when a story that is well known is told again, and oftentimes in a different way. So this is a different way of telling the very well-known story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You guys may remember earlier in the school year we read another retelling. We read the true story of the Three Little Pigs, I think is what it's called, and it was a retelling of the story of the Three Little Pigs from the wolf's point of view. And so today we're reading Goldilocks and the Three Dinosaurs, which, if you're familiar with Goldilocks and the Three Bears, you're probably knowing what to expect from this story. But as we're reading, I want to focus on internal and external character traits, as well as conflict and resolutions. So internal character traits, if you guys remember when we talked about this before, these are things that are inside a person. So their personality, what kind of person they are. Like, are they nice? Are they mean? Do they care about other people? Do they only care about themselves? What kinds of things do they enjoy doing? And all of those sorts of things that you can know about a person if you talk to them, but you won't know if you just look at them. Whereas external character traits are the things on the outside, the things that we see when we look at people. So these are the kinds of things that you would use to describe the appearance of a person. For example, an external character trait of mine is I have black hair. I have very dark brown eyes. These are things that you can see and know just by looking at me. Internal character traits, you can't look at me and know that I like to read, or that I really enjoy sharing stories with other people and talking about books with other people, and I'm very caring, and these are just things that you wouldn't know necessarily by looking at somebody. So we're going to focus on that in here, as well as conflicts and resolutions. So conflict is when you have a problem. Most stories are set up in a way where after we're introduced to the characters, we are introduced to some sort of conflict or problem that character has. And the entire story is sort of how the characters try and figure out how to solve the conflict or fix their problem. And typically stories end with the resolution, which is just how the characters eventually end up solving their problems and fixing them. So as we're reading through this, I want you guys to really think about internal and external characteristic traits, specifically for Goldilocks, because that is one of the questions you'll have to answer in Microsoft Forms once you're done watching this read aloud. And we'll focus on conflict, both for the dinosaurs in the story, as well as Goldilocks conflict, because you know, if you're familiar with Goldilocks, you know she makes some really bad choices and gets herself into some pretty big problems. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's go ahead and get started. So this is Goldilocks and the Three Dinosaurs. Once upon a time, there were three dinosaurs: Papa Dinosaur, Mama Dinosaur, and some other dinosaur who happened to be visiting from Norway. So we have Papa, Mama, and some Norwegian dinosaur who's just visiting for some reason. One day, for no particular reason, the three dinosaurs made up their beds, positioned their chairs just so, and cooked 3 bowls of delicious chocolate pudding at varying temperatures. I don't know about you guys, but based on the looks of these dinosaurs with their very, very sharp teeth, I don't think they eat pudding. Normally when animals have very sharp teeth like this, they eat meat, and pudding isn't meat. So I wonder what they're making this pudding for, and I wonder why they're making it 3 different temperatures. That's kind of weird. Don't you think that's kind of weird? I think that's kind of weird. I wonder why. Let's see if we can find out. Oh boy, said Papa Dinosaur in his loud, booming voice. It's finally time to leave and go to the, someplace else. Yes, continued Mama Dinosaur. I sure hope no innocent little succulent child happens by our unlocked home while we are, someplace else. Look at their faces. Do they look kind of suspicious? I think they look kind of suspicious. I wonder where they're going. And I wonder why she said succulent child. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the word succulent, but succulent is a word that is usually reserved for talking about food. And she's calling a child, a little person, succulent. So what do you guys think they're hoping will happen? Then the other dinosaur made a loud noise that sounded like a big, evil laugh, but was probably just a polite Norwegian expression. I don't know Norwegian, but he looks like he's making an evil laugh to me. What do you guys think? I think he seems like I don't trust him. I don't trust him. The 3 dinosaurs went someplace else and were definitely not hiding in the woods waiting for an unsuspecting kid to come by. I don't know if I trust that statement. What do you guys think? Do you think they actually went someplace else and they're just kind of like doing their thing? Or do you think the narrator is lying to us and that they are in fact hiding in the woods waiting for an unsuspecting kid to come by? Sure enough, 5 minutes later, a poorly supervised little girl named Goldilocks came traipsing along. And here it says 0.2 miles to a very nice house. But it's crossed out right here. It says trap. So the sign originally said 0.2 miles to trap. But it looks like somebody crossed out the word trap and wrote very nice house. And you can see who is here hiding in the tree. The 3 dinosaurs. And they're hoping that Goldilocks follows these arrows to their trap. I mean, their very nice house. Not a trap. Not a trap. Just then, the forest boomed with what could have been a dinosaur yelling. Gotcha! But I'm pretty sure it was just the wind. The loud noise was immediately followed by another loud noise that sounded kind of like, "Be patient, Papa Dinosaur. The trap is not yet sprung." But that could have been a rock falling. Or a squirrel. What do you guys think? Do you think it was a squirrel? Do you think it was a rock falling? Do rocks falling and squirrels sound like they're saying, "The trap is not yet sprung"? I don't know. Something seems a little fishy. Either way, Goldilocks was not the type of little girl who listened to anyone or anything. For example, Goldilocks never listened to warnings about the dangers of barging into strange, enormous houses. Please don't be like Goldilocks. Please don't barge into strange, large houses if you're not invited. It's a bad idea. Because bad things can happen. Hopefully nothing bad happens to Goldilocks, but she's going into just some random unlocked door. Does that seem like a smart thing to do? It's not a very smart thing to do. But let's see what happens. Maybe she'll be okay. So as soon as Goldilocks came across a strange, enormous house, she barged right in. Because she doesn't care. She's like, "I can do whatever I want. I'm Goldilocks and I'll be fine." I hope she is fine, but she'll probably get into trouble at some point if she keeps doing stuff like this. Don't be like Goldilocks. And down here you can see their welcome mat for the dinosaurs home. It says, "Welcome." So, based on what we've seen so far of Goldilocks, I want you to think about what are some of her character traits. So, internal and external. So, external, again, is the way she looks. She's wearing like a little orange dress. She's got a little pink belt. She's got some short blonde hair with a little bow. And she seems generally kind of carefree. And how would you describe some of her internal characteristic traits? So like who she is on the inside. What kind of person do you think she is? She's just barging into people's homes without permission, just walking in like she owns the place. How would you describe that? Something to think about so that you can answer this question in Microsoft Forms once you're done with the read aloud. Inside, Goldilocks immediately smelled 3 bowls of delicious chocolate pudding. Said Goldilocks. That chocolate pudding smells delicious. If only I could get all the way up to the top of that counter. Then Goldilocks noticed a very tall ladder that just happened to be there and certainly wasn't left on purpose. Goldilocks climbed up the ladder and found herself face to face with 3 gigantic bowls of chocolate pudding. Can you imagine if you went into a house and everything was so tall that you had to climb a ladder just to get to a kitchen counter to get some pudding in a house that doesn't even belong to you? Seems like a bad idea. The first bowl of chocolate pudding was too hot, but Goldilocks ate it all anyway because, hey, it's chocolate pudding, right? The second bowl of chocolate pudding was too cold, but who cares about temperature when you've got a big bowl of chocolate pudding? Not her. Goldilocks does not care. She really likes chocolate pudding. The third bowl of chocolate pudding was just right. But Goldilocks was on such a roll by now, she hardly noticed. That is a very big bowl of chocolate pudding, and she's just laying in it. Can you imagine eating so much chocolate pudding? Like, those other two bowls were enormous too, and look, she ate like all of them, and now she's just laying in a bowl of chocolate pudding. Please don't do stuff like this. Soon Goldilocks was stuffed like one of those delicious chocolate-filled little girl bonbons, which, by the way, are totally not the favorite things in the whole world for hungry dinosaurs. I don't know if I believe that. It seems like it probably is their favorite thing in the world, because it seems like they set this up as a trap to get a girl full of chocolate pudding, like a little bonbon, which is the favorite thing in the world for dinosaurs. Because I don't trust the narrator who says it's not. I don't believe him. Do you believe him? I don't know. We'll see. Tired and groggy, Goldilocks noticed the 3 chairs in the living room. So she climbed down the ladder and walked out of the kitchen. I mean, I can imagine she'd be pretty groggy after eating like 3 gigantic bowls of pudding. Makes sense. The first chair was too tall. The second chair was too tall. But the third chair, what do you think the third chair is going to be? Do you think it's also going to be too tall? Or is it going to be just right? So the third chair was too tall. Goldilocks wasn't going to climb that high just to sit in some chair. So she hiked over to the bedroom. She's like, I'm not going to climb up into this chair just to sit in it. Seems like a lot of work just to sit in a chair. So what does she do? She's going to go to the bedroom. Let's see what happens. When she got there, Goldilocks noticed that the beds were also gigantically big. What is going on around here? Groaned the exhausted girl. The bears that live here must be nuts. She thinks she's where? Goldilocks must think she's in the house of some bears. But it doesn't make any sense that bears would live in this house if everything is so big. Just then, the room filled with a loud, booming noise that was either a passing truck or a dinosaur gloating. A few more minutes and she'll be asleep. Delicious chocolate-filled little girl bonbons are yummier when they're rested. Even a little girl who never listens to anyone or anything had to hear that. So she heard them say it. What do you think she's going to do? Goldilocks took a minute to stop and think, which was longer than she was used to stopping and thinking. What do you think that means? She stops and she's thinking for a moment. But if that's longer than she's used to stopping and thinking, how long do you think she normally stops and thinks? Do you think she ever stops and thinks? Or do you think she just does whatever she wants all willy-nilly without considering what could happen? So far, to me, it seems like she doesn't ever really stop and think. But here she is now, stopping and thinking. Let's see, what does she realize? Hey, she told herself, this isn't some bear's house. This is some dinosaur's house. she thought she was in the bear's house this whole time. And now she's finally realizing it's a dinosaur's home. And you can see they have this sign hanging that says, "Home Sweet Dinosaur Home." It's probably a pretty big clue, in addition to all of the gigantic furniture and the gigantic bowls of pudding. Say what you like about Goldilocks, but she was no fool. As quickly as she could, she ran to the back door and got out of there. So she realizes she's in trouble. That's Goldilocks' problem. She's like, oh wait, this is a bad place for me. Something's not right. I'm in trouble. I need to save myself. And so what does she do? She runs away out of the back door. Just then, a loud plane flew by, which sounded pretty much like a trio of dinosaurs yelling, "Now!" or "Charge!" or the Norwegian expression for "Chewy bon bon time!" Suddenly and completely coincidentally, the three dinosaurs rushed through the front door. But they were too late. So their plan was to try and eat Goldilocks after she ate all of the pudding. They laid a trap for her. She fell for it. But then she realized she was in trouble and she got away. And thankfully she went through the back door, because who came in through the front door? The dinosaurs. So if she had tried to go out this way, she would have had a really bad time. But alas, she got out the back door, the dinosaurs were too late, and she did not get eaten by them. Yet. Let's see what else happens, because the story's not over yet. Goldilocks was gone, and all that was left in the house were three disappointed dinosaurs. Oh, look how sad they are that they didn't get their chocolate stuffed bonbon child. The end. And the moral of this story is, if you ever find yourself in the wrong story, leave. So here's Goldilocks. She was in the wrong story, because the story she's supposed to be in, the house belongs to who? 3 bears. So why do you think these 3 bears are in this cage? And what can you learn from this picture? Okay, so we talked about how this is a retelling of the original story, Goldilocks and who? The 3 bears. And for the dinosaurs, the moral of the story for them is to lock the back door. Because if they had locked the back door, would Goldilocks have escaped? And would they have gotten their delicious chocolate bonbon child? But is that what we really want? Did we want the dinosaurs to catch and eat Goldilocks? I certainly hope you didn't want that, because I didn't want that. Who would want that for somebody? That seems terrible. But if you are a dinosaur and you're trying to trap a chocolate bonbon child, make sure you lock all of the exits so that they can't escape. Like these dinosaurs forgot to do. And then they lost their bonbon snack. I don't feel bad for them. So that is the end of Goldilocks and the 3 dinosaurs. I will be posting a link to the Microsoft forums for you to answer some questions about the story. And I'll post the link in the description for this video on YouTube, and I'll be posting it in Class Dojo as well. So make sure that once you have watched this Read Aloud video, you go ahead and go do that. And I did assign this book to you all in HMH, so if you need to go back through the book on your own to look for your answers, you can do that much more easily than watching this video all over again. But please do make sure you watch the video, because we talked a lot about the questions that you'll have to answer. So very, very helpful for you to watch this first before you go to the Microsoft Forms questions. So I hope you guys enjoyed this story. I look forward to seeing all of your responses in Microsoft Forms, and I will see you guys next time with another Read Aloud. Bye.